Hello and welcome to the show. I am back on Car Mechanic Simulator today, turning this giant boat, hopefully, into something rather powerful, maybe even something half decently fast, because we've got the tuning DLC and I'm going to get as much power out of this vehicle as possible. It has been a faithful car. It has donated many of its engine parts to getting other cars working, but it is now time, to get this hopefully going and going well. Now, I have gone and restored all of the kind of running gear stuff. There is no new parts in terms of suspension, in terms of any of this stuff breaks, etc. You can't convert the rear drums into disc brakes or so on. The tuning DLC stuff is only at the moment for engines, and we're going to be literally starting from scratch with this engine. I got no parts hanging around, so we are going to go off to, well, we're in the performance shop already, so sure, we will go to the performance shop and we'll buy the bits that we need. So we're going to need an alternator for this. We will need overhead valve, camshaft. We only need one. Yeah, I think for this vehicle. I can't remember. I assume it has a 4-barrel carburetor. Whether it'll have 2 or not, I don't think it does. I'm not sure about those. We will need a clutch plate. We will need a pressure plate as well. We will need 2 engine heads for this. It's going to be a much more expensive rebuild than I say much more. So these parts are more expensive than their counterparts. We're going to need 2 exhaust manifolds. I can't quite remember all the different exhaust sections, so we will come back to get those bits as and when I know what they are. We need a fuel filter. We will need a fuel pump. We will need a distributor. We will need a cap, a rotor, some wires. I assume it'll just be generic V8. Sure. Intake manifold, again, was something we will come to look at a little bit later. Right, 8 of these are not going to be cheap, but we want some good pistons. Power steering pump, maybe. I can't remember. There's a specific one for the particular engine that I have in there. We're going to need 8 of these. Now, while a lot of these parts are only adding, some of these are adding 0.1%, it does all add up. As you kind of stick on all of these parts, it will add up, hopefully, to a decent amount. Now, the rest of the stuff I'm going to come back to a little bit later, because I'm not quite sure which combination of bits. So let's go and find. It's probably not the cleverest thing for me to type in. No, let's just go for block. Oopsie. Block. We're going to want a V8 overhead valve. Now, unfortunately, there is no engine swaps at the moment, so I can't go putting in a crazy engine into this. It has to have the engine that it came with, which would be, it is only a single carb engine. Okay, so that's the engine that it came with. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here, because I can't build, at least I don't think, unless something has changed since, I can't build engines on the stand. I have to put the engine in the car, and then we will pull the engine out of the car, and then it will allow me, because it's in a slightly different mode when I've pulled it out of the car, I will then be able to stick the engine on here, and that makes life a little bit easier. Was there not a crankshaft in the performance shop? Did I manage to miss the crankshafts at some point? No, there's only camshafts. Okay. Now, there may be more performance parts added later on. I don't know. There may also be, I guess, possibly more performance parts. For a while, performance parts did appear in the junkyard. They don't seem to appear there anymore. I haven't come across any. I did have a quick look. Oh, I need piston rings, of course. I did have a quick look before I started filming this. I had a wander around a junkyard a couple of times. Haven't found any performance parts in there. So, yeah, as far as I am aware, they are only bought from here. There might be other ways. We need that ejection coil as well. I did notice that. There may be other ways. There may be more of them than there are in the shop, or that may be stuff that comes later. Who knows? At the moment, though, this is what I have to be working with. And as I said, I'm hoping that this will all add up to be a decent amount of power. I don't think we're going to quite have 1,000 horsepower coming from this particular vehicle. It wasn't. I mean, this is going to be percentage gains. It's going to be a decent amount of percentage gain, but yeah, not sure it's going to be quite enough to get the thousands of horsepower. Also, if it was, I'm not sure we would. It would be drivable, quite frankly. I think it would just sort of spin the wheels and then not really go around a corner, and then spin the wheels some more and then not really go around a corner. So that's probably for the best that we don't have 1,000 horsepower going through our old Cadillac boat. I also will have to sort out wheels and tyre. Seeing as that the wheels were long since chucked away kind of by accident, the tyres went on the hot rod, so we're going to need to get new ones of those. I'll probably get some bigger tyres to deal with the potentially large amount of horsepower. I think the engine was supposed to have about 290 from stock, so it's going to have a fair amount going through it. Oh, we're going to need a release bearing, aren't we? Which we cannot get from there. Right. Oopsie. There we go. I can type, I think. Apparently, lots of stuff. There we go. Right. Release bearing. That's on. Exhaust manifolds. Might as well put the extra shiny bits on over here. It will look good. Like I like the look of the performance parts that go on the engine. I mean, the engines is always, you know, you've got this junk car that you've been building up, and then oh, I like that high power output. Yeah, when you've got this junk car you've been working on and so on, and it all comes together and suddenly it's lovely and shiny, etc. That they always look great, but especially with these new performance parts, yeah, it's going to be a nice looking engine. It was a power steering pump V8. Yeah, sometimes these pumps, it will be, the V8 is for the modern one. I mean, I kind of assumed that it would be for this because there wasn't another alternative, but still wanted to make sure. And then we'll have all of these little the red tinted parts to tell you that you've got hopefully more performance going on in this. We're going to have to flip this damn thing over, aren't we? No, I want to go right. I'm never 100% sure that it's going to behave itself when you'll tell it to turn one way, and it kind of does its own thing a lot of the time. So yeah, if I try to be clever and guesswork as to what on earth it's going to do for me, then it will do what it's supposed to do. And if I go and do what it's supposed to do, it'll guesswork it and make up random stuff. So it's not the easiest of things to work, this bloody engine stand. But there we go. Right, we have got a high. I mean, I say high voltage, always going to be high voltage up there, but I like the little details. I like the little details on all of this. Okay, we need cam gear. This is back to, might as well get intake manifold. Do they not have a performance intake manifold for a single carb? Apparently not. Damn, and I can't convert the engine to be a 2-carb engine. I would assume I couldn't anyway. Shall we try? It's not good. I doubt it's going to let me do it, but we will have a go. Right, let's go grab a proper one. If I say a proper one, if it's going to force us to use that cam gear, V8 overhead valve, we are going to need. Let's just go search V8 overhead valve because we're going to need a bunch of like timing serpentine belts. We will need overhead valve, that one, and timing chain. Unfortunately, not got a supercharged engine in this. Again, I don't think we can change the engines to be forced induction. There we go. Trying to remember the right word for it. My brain had a little bit of a fart there. Yeah, can't have a forced induction. We can't turn something into a supercharged or turbocharged engine. We'll probably need a water pump, but I don't think I saw a upgraded version of that. We will probably need an oil pan as well. We will need an oil filter. Head covers we will probably be needing. Head cover A, yes, and head cover B. Cool. Was there anything else possible? Probably going to need that at some point as well. Right, timing cover. That can go on there. Let's go and have a play around with the intake manifold. Yeah, as expected. Not surprised by that. We can only put on the part that it was intended to have initially. We can get a fancy carburetor on it though. Look at that. There's a nice shiny carburetor on there. We're going to need... we need push rods and rocker arms. We can find these. We need a lot of them. These are the time-consuming bit with the overhead valve engines and rocker arms. Let's go get a bunch of them. Wait, hold on. Yeah, we'll need the same, won't we? I remember my cars, I think. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so let's shove all of these bits in. Not... I don't know, I feel like there's slightly less in the way of performance parts than there was in the I might be just misremembering it, because I felt sure that there was, not necessarily with kind of valve push rods and so on, but yeah, I did get I seem to remember there were perhaps a little bit more in the way of performance bits and pieces around. Like I seem to remember like water pumps and so on were a thing. Again, I could be completely wrong on that one, and my bad if that is the case. There probably are new different performance parts. There's performance exhausts on here that we will get to in a minute once, of course, the engine's in the car, sorry. Yeah, there is a full-on performance exhaust, which is nice to have. Again, I don't remember them being in Car Mechanic 15, but I could be wrong on that front. I was just, yeah, kind of hoping for perhaps a little bit more freedom to do silly stuff with cars. Most notably, of course, engine swaps and whatnot. That may well be coming later on, but it's a little bit of a shame that we can't do that as of yet, because I was hoping to put the 800 plus horsepower V8 into the boat, and unfortunately I cannot. I mean, I guess it's better than having bought a boat with an i6 and being stuck with that terrible engine. The real classic i6 is not a good engine. I'll be honest. All of the Aston Martins and the Porsches that I had that felt a bit underpowered and a bit sluggish, you could probably now make them into relatively entertaining cars to drive. Oh, did I not buy... I bought 16 instead of 18. Oh no, never mind. I did that side there. Never mind. I can count. I just worked in a wonky order, because of course I did. Right. That's all of those bits. We need round air filter base. We just go round, probably, yeah. Round air filter base, and we will need air filter cover, but the actual air filter we want to get from here, because I did see round air filter 1 carb. It's... yeah, I'd like a little bit more. I want a little bit more percentage increase in power from this, because I'm not sure it's going to be massively powerful by the time I am done. However, it's going to be better than it would have been from standard. Yeah, the car itself is going to be a big heavy boat, not likely to be the fastest of vehicles. However, it should now be a bit more rapid and hopefully a bit more fun to throw around. Oh, we don't have a water pump pulley. That is something that we will need, that we are not going to find from there. Water pump pulley, and I think we will have the rest of the bits and pieces, possibly. Oh, we'll probably need like a fan, won't we? Come to think of it, we'll need the fan. We will need a radiator as well when it comes to actually putting it in the car. Radiator, fan, overhead valve. Don't know which radiator it is though, so I'm not going to go and buy something just yet. Fan is on, engine is almost complete. We need that down there, and of course we need the clips on the distributor. Oh, if only we could get some performance clips. That would be the height. That would be the height of car mechanic simulating, if we could get some performance clips to hold the distributor together. And I want performance rubber bushings as well. We've also got all of the bottom of the engine to do that I almost forgot because I turned the engine over. Right, I don't think there's going to be any fancy bearings for the vehicle, so let's go grab 8 of those, and I think it's only 3, but I'm going to grab some more just in case I'm wrong. For some reason I have a feeling it's only 3 in this, but I could be... I seem to remember I've joked about this having 3, and like i4s have 5. The V8's having the least of the crankshaft bearings. I might be correct. Yeah, looks like I am. Not really the easiest way of working in there, is it? Come on, engine. We'll turn you back onto the side. It'd be kind of nice to be able to spin the engine over without having to kind of leave this bit. Yeah, it's just extra faffing around. You've got the camera in a place that I want it to be, and I don't want to have to keep going and necessarily spinning or leaving stuff to move the thing around. But that's only minor things. I think I can figure out how to do all of that. Also, this now slightly annoys me because the rod caps don't match the pistons. I apologise, because that's annoying me, and I'm not normally the person that gets most annoyed by that kind of thing. That's really annoying. Good news is I can do that. And then we never have to know. Never, ever have to know about that. That's a bit of a pain in the arse. I mean, I guess there's not really too much of a performance could be gained from having a special bearing at the the big end bearing. I guess you could probably have a one that's slightly better in terms of less resistance, so I guess less power loss, which is I guess how things like the alternator and so on with their power gains. I just want I want a performance one just so that it matches up down there basically. Let's go and take that engine off. Let's go and then install it into the car. That should be, let's go move that out of the way as well. That should be is a nice looking engine. Should be getting pretty close on the whole. That's what I need to see. On the whole, getting the car working and see how much power we can get out of it. I'm hoping for about... Wait, does this say... Okay, so from standard it was at 291. I would like to think with all of the bits and pieces in there we could potentially get the car to 600? 600 horsepower in the pink Cadillac boat. I'd be happy with that. Of course, we've got a lot of exhaust stuff as well to go on. Because it's got a kind of double exhaust all the way back, it will give me a lot of opportunity to get performance parts here. So we have front exhaust pipe, I believe, be overhead valve C, I believe the front exhaust pipe will be a performance bit. Okay, so we need 2 of those, definitely using that. The middle muffler, which is somewhere... front exhaust, ooh. Now, it doesn't say, we're getting 2 of them anyway. I did also see somewhere there was the middle, there it is, middle one as well. Again, they're only adding a percentage each, but overall that entire exhaust, we've got sort of 7 or 8% going on there. Ah, no, okay, so it was worth a look, but I guess that's for the, what's it called? The fancier muscle cars, basically, that front exhaust section is. Again, this is annoying. We've got shiny exhaust bits in there. We've got... we could have at least polished this bit to be a little bit better to go with the other ones, couldn't we? Bloody hell. Oh, crap, we need a gearbox. Is there performance gearboxes? No, does not look like there is. So there's clutch and flywheel, but the actual gearbox itself is... Oh, where am I going in there? That's not what we wanted at the moment. We do need that, but we do not need that at this precise moment in time. Gearbox. Oh, we need a starter motor. Now there we used to be before. Did they used to be before? Again, I should have done my research before doing a video. I feel like there used to be a performance starter motor as well. Maybe there. No, there certainly isn't here. Maybe there never was. Maybe I am making stuff up. However, we are going to have a real mismatch of mismatch of performance, a real mismatch of shiny parts basically on this thing. Did we have... I'll probably use the pinch the drive shaft for something else. So let's go and get one of those. Yeah, the bits of this car were pillaged for the hot rod and for various other vehicles, and I'd long forgotten what's gone and what's not with this. Fuel pump, and then I sold a bunch of stuff as well. Fuel pump, we do have a performance one. It's another 1.5% power increase. Battery, we can grab from charge. Oh, let's go and drop you down. In terms of the tuning parts, in terms of the kind of customizing of your vehicle, while there isn't anything in terms of sort of suspension, in terms of handling characteristics, we do have access to a body shop. There is various bits and pieces. Now, some cars, of course, are going to have more bits to buy than others. By the look of it, most vehicles have a front bumper option. Some, of course, have got more front bumpers and rear bumpers and bonnets, etc. The car that we are building, the Bowen does not have a huge amount. I mean, there's perhaps not to be surprised. I am going to buy all of these just to put them on the car. I'm not sure I'm going to like them. Most of them are looking like Gothic-style buildings, so... I mean, I don't know. I guess it could work. It could look cool. All right, assemble mode. Wait, was that the... I don't even know if that was the right one. No. That was the right one. So it's kind of sort of smoked headlights, I guess, we've got going on with this. Assembly mode. It's not, I'll be honest, not the biggest difference of of parts. So yeah, we've got a black front bumper. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's there. It's just not the most... not the most staggering of tuning upgrades. Kind of to be expected a little bit with the car that I have ended up here, the car that I've wanted to be working on here. Rear bumper we do have. We apparently... Oh, did I not repair that? We want to take that. Okay, fair enough. Hood, we have got one in good condition. Fenders, we should have. I actually need to weld up the chassis on this. Let's go jump over to the repair table, fix up the bits and pieces that did... Ah, okay, I took out some of the extra bodywork bits. Yeah, for whatever reason we're missing one door. I guess, is that the door? It just must have never came with that, because I wouldn't have ever had a reason to use that door for something. So it was just... Yeah, it was without a door. For whatever reason, that went to walkabouts. Did we have a mirror? We did have a right side mirror. Perfect. And then we can go to normal mode, interior, assemble. A little bit easier on this one to actually be able to click on the right places to put stuff in. Perfect. We do need a steering wheel, which we don't have. Oh, I can't get to the tablet while I'm in interior mode. Interior mode's weird. I don't know why. It gets unhappy with doing... Actually gets unhappy with doing lots of stuff, basically. Right, wheel. I've just tended to be putting on the classic cars. Just this one. Kind of does the job. Kind of does the job on these. Interior, assemble. I think it's close enough. Normal mode. Right, so we need a front left door and a door window. And that'll be in... Oh, didn't mean to click. That'll be in the body shop. We will need a Bowen front left door, yes, and we need left door window, and we'll probably need left side mirror as well, because I'd imagine, well, if the door wasn't there, it can't have the mirror because it's got nothing to attach to. Because I believe they will sit on the, yeah, they do sit on the doors. That will be all of that stuff done. Right. We have got just wheels to go. Normal mode back in here. Just having another check around just in case I can spot anything we seem to be missing. We should... Oh, we've got number plates to put on, of course. Front license plates. Both of these got repaired. They're both fairly... Well, I say they're fairly generic. They are. They're just the ones that came off the car. When, oh, I don't want to move it. Come on now. There we go. Assembly mode. Rear license plate. There on there. We can take the welder over to it as well. This was a barn find car, so the actual condition of the body and chassis and whatnot was not too bad at all. Oh, no. Move back. Let's go and grab the detailing kit as well. You go and clean out the interior. It has been sat in a garage for a long time, so probably worthwhile. Okay. Global parts conditions. The only thing we have left to put on the vehicle is wheels. Yeah, rim Bowen, vintage tyre, wall A. And that is it. Piston rings never show up unless you do a compression test, so don't worry about that. I have absolutely no idea what size wheels this came with and what size wheels it will want. So that's going to be fun. Let's go. We will go and stick with the wheels that the car would have had. Would it be six? I suspect most likely what it would be is it would probably be 14 wheels with some big sidewalls. So we're going to get 14 wheels. Then we're going to go to the tyre shop. Now, I'm gonna go... Ooh, I'm gonna go vintage tyre wall C on this one, I think. So there were 14s. We're gonna get some big tyres on this. We're gonna go for two... Shall we go 265s? Yeah, let's go 265s, and then we'll go 65. Maybe we'll go 70. We'll guesstimate and hope that this comes out okay. It will either look great or it will look dumb. And I'm not keeping the car. Maybe we will keep the car. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of tempted. I'm kind of more attached to this than a lot of the vehicles that I built, just because it's sat around for such a long time and been such a helpful vehicle. I'm kind of tempted to keep that one. And now that we've got a decent level of performance in it, kind of tempted. We have then, of course, got to put it on the dyno. Got that working. Yeah, it's kind of weird the way that the update for this worked. The dyno bit, I thought it just automatically installed the updates for it, and it installed bits to get the performance parts working, but to actually get the dyno, you have to download a separate DLC. So yeah, thank you to people that let me know on that one. Yeah, I did figure it out eventually, but a little bit of a pain. Are we gonna see? Oh, that is a bit of a tight fit. This is going to be a low rider, I think. Yeah, it looks it'll work. But I think it could have done with a bit more profile. The tyre wall needed to be bigger, I think, on this potentially. Although I'm not necessarily dislike. Again, the low rider look will suit that particular car. Perhaps not go and take it. On the off-road course. However, the doorbell is gone and I must go be an adult. Right, I am back with the final wheel is off over there doing its balancing. Let's go and stick the... I think I've got the actual rim size roughly correct on all of this. Yeah, they weren't particularly massive wheels that went on, well, any of these cars. So... yeah, perhaps it could have been it could have been a little bit bigger, but with random guesswork, I am okay with that. We do need to go and paint the door. I could, I guess, just take the door in there and paint it, but I'm not sure I'll be able to get it to the right colour, so let's move the car into the paint shop. Let's go and... we've got to keep it as the pink mobile. It's just the way that it is. Can we have... what are the liveries for it? Ooh. I mean, I quite like they've got the bluey flames going on. However, it doesn't really work with the pink bottom of the car. So we will keep it metallic. Actually, we'll keep it with metallic. That will do for you. Let's go and put you back into the garage entrance just so I can check around. I keep forgetting how quick the doors close. They are. For what you would expect to be big, heavy doors, these are the most... Look at how quickly that door closes. That is the most vicious door I think I have ever seen in a workshop. It's deadly. Right. Final thing to do with this is, of course, top up the oil. There we go. Actual, like, value-wise, this car's not too bad. It's not too bad. About 65 grand with this restoration work. Sure, it's not the most money I've made. I lied, 75 grand with the rest. That's not too shabby. Yeah, it's not going to beat the Daytona over there, but the Honda that I was working on was only 25 grand, and I've worked on cars worth considerably less. Right, shall we put the Barge? You are going to go into the dyno room. Don't really know. I'm assuming this works in a similar way to the previous game, but I haven't played with it yet. So here is a thing. We're going to press some buttons. Or not. Computer! That's probably where we want to be. Yes, let's go and run the dyno. Let's see how much power it is going to produce. The factory engine was 291. What are we going to do here? It's going to spike its way up quite nicely and then run down there. 520 horsepower. More impressively is the torque. That is a huge amount of torque. That's a massive amount of torque from the engine. I mean, it's a fairly torquey engine to begin with, but there we go. Can we not do the tinkering with the... Oh, maybe we can't do the tinkering with, like, well, ECU with the modern cars, carburetors with these to try and get another little extra bit, a little bit of 4 or 5% more. I think it could go up to about 16%. Maybe we cannot. That'd be a shame, because, yeah, this is literally just click the thing and run the dyno rather than doing any tweaking around with it. Okay. Either way, we've got almost 600 horsepower out of this. And that definitely means that we have got to go and take it around a racetrack. So, here is the great boat. The current lap time to beat is a 57-second lap done by the Shelby Daytona. Not necessarily holding out a huge amount of hope that this is going to be able to go faster. Although the good news, when I go on the brakes, it's not the most uncontrollable veer off to the left-hand side of the course as you might expect. Actually, this is a pretty good driving car. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but a giant Cadillac boat may well be one of the nicer driving vehicles I have had. It's a bit wobbly through some of the corners. It is a little bit understeery at times, followed by a fair bit of oversteer. But I was expecting it to be considerably worse. It's, for this level of power, actually pretty good. A lot of the cars, when they start getting powerful, especially the rear-wheel drive cars on here, they start getting powerful. They start getting very, very difficult to control. And while this is certainly more than happy to spin its wheels, it's more than happy to spin its wheels a lot. Yeah, look at that. It's traction all the way down towards the start-finish line. Now, where are we going to... I'm going to brake nice and early for this corner, because that crest can really catch you out. I thought I'd brake nice and early. I haven't braked nice and early. We're going off to play with the grandstands. Hello. Don't mind me. Okay, brakes are not the best. I'm perhaps, again, not so surprised. It's got almost twice the horsepower and no improvement to the brakes. So, yeah, perhaps not so surprising that it's a little bit difficult to get through the corner. As I get through the corners, to stop. The level of grip actually through the turns is, as I said, pretty damn decent. We will have one more lap after this through the nasty chicane. Oh, not stopping. That was a little bit too much bravery. Thankfully, said car cannot take, or doesn't take damage when I'm prattling around with it here. Still want to have an automatic gearbox as a thing that I could put in the vehicles. At times it just does dumb things with the gears. I would imagine as well that this particular gearbox would be a 4-speed. If you're seeing 4 speeds on some other classic cars that I was driving, it would make sense that this V8 overhead valve gearbox would also be a 4-speed. We're going to go nice and early under brakes that time around. It bobbled a little bit. It did bobble around slightly, but does get slowed. What was the time the Honda did? Was it like a 1:13 or something? I think the little S800. Oh, come on, gears. There's a gear in there somewhere, and then you found a gear, then you got some wheel spin as well, but we've made it around the turns. I'm really impressed with this with this car. The brakes are probably the weak point, but it's quite fun to drive. I was expecting, the Honda to be a fun car to throw around here and so on, but for this level of horsepower, this could be a lot worse, because this is about the simplest of V8s that you can have, I think. Yeah, I think it would be. So, this level of horsepower, not too shabby. To got this level of horsepower out of it, not too shabby, and to be this fun to drive and so on. Yeah, good going. Not going to beat the Daytona, that much is for sure. Run towards the line we go, and the RX-7 I think was like a 103 or something, but it is going to be a pretty good lap time, a 174 from the boat. The brake lights don't seem to work either, but there we go. Can we do some, yeah, well, maybe. Come on, we need to do some celebratory donuts. You've got an awful lot of torque, so you should be able to do these. That's more like it. I do like this barge. This might be one of my favourite cars that I've built. It's fantastic. I'm glad people wanted to sell. I was very close to selling it at one point, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad we've kept it. I'm glad people wanted to see me build this one up, and yeah, it's turned out pretty damn cool. Definitely going to be keeping this vehicle. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.